Welcome back to the Weeb Lounge. This is going to be one of our love it or hate it reviews, and in this case, it is The Promised Neverland, an anime that I absolutely love. The Promised Neverland is, my God, this anime has so many twists and turns, so much suspense. Oh my God. There's very few anime out there that reach this level of intelligent, suspense, story-driven storytelling. It's one of our absolute favorites of all time, and as of this video, there's a second season coming, but also there's a lot of manga to read. Okay, we'll get to that later. The basic premise of this show is you have a bunch of orphans being raised by Isabella, Mama as they refer to them. And all these orphans are kind of just waiting around, growing up, being taught everything that there kind of is to know on these really advanced computers and stuff, while the rest of the house is pretty much all like archaic and stuff. It's kind of odd, but you know, it's an orphanage, they're trying to get their education, and they're all basically just waiting to be adopted, right? And, you know, a few kids get adopted here and there, and they leave, never to be heard from again. Foreshadowing. And they just grow up a normal life. But the thing is, a lot of these kids are super intelligent. And I mean super intelligent. This is how they're raised. They're trying to make these kids really, really, really smart. And, yeah, that goes with some of the stuff later. Anyways, Isabella, she's the orphan mother, I guess you could say. And the three main characters we have is Emma, who is a very hyper athletic girl that is bouncing all over the damn place. Really cool character, smarter than what people give her credit for, I guess, but in terms of athletic ability, she's a number one. Then you have Norman, which is the white-haired guy or whatever, kind of laid back. Doesn't seem all that much athletic, but actually all these kids kind of are. He is incredibly intelligent, incredibly strategic, and has a really good foresight, I guess you could say. And then you have Ray. This is the dark-haired, emo-looking kid. Now, this guy, physical abilities, pretty damn good, but his mind is very cunning, very deceiving, but he also does all that in a very intelligent manner, always plotting, planning, conniving, whatever the case may be. Now, all these kids are basically being raised by Isabella, just growing up, living their life as normal, waiting to be adopted. Well, one kid is going to get adopted, and this kid has this like little plush rabbit or a little toy or whatever, right? And Emma's like, oh my God, they don't have this toy. And of course, none of these kids there are allowed outside of a certain range, right? They're not allowed to go to the gates. They're not allowed to go for their protection, of course, right? And not go beyond these fences and everything. And going to the gate is a big no-no. Well, the kid leaves his toy back. Emma is like, oh, we need to get him his toy. I wonder if we can catch up with him. Grabs the toy, goes after the kid, and basically watches the kid get murdered by demons in 8. Yeah, that goes in a route that you really do not expect with this anime. It is a huge shock value. And if I didn't mention before, spoilers. There's going to be a lot of spoilers, and there's going to be some that actually go past the anime in probably what's going to be in the second season. So keep that in mind as you're watching the rest of the video. Spoilers, lots. So basically what ends up happening is these kids finally realizes, hey, they put 2 and 2 together. They realize they're being raised as fodder for these demons. They're cattle. They're cattle for demons in this orphanage. When they get adopted, quote unquote, they're not getting adopted. They're getting fed to something. Their meat, their food. So these kids are like, oh my God, okay, this is where the plotting, the planning, the conniving, the strategy, everything starts to come into play. How the heck do they escape this place? How the heck do they escape this place and bring all the other kids with them while not letting Isabella know, or even Sister Crone, who shows up a little bit later. She is the curly-haired lady that is quite eccentric in her mannerisms, but she's secondhand to Isabella, basically. Now, basically the premise of the show is they have to figure out a way to get out. Okay, they have to figure out a way to get out. They have to figure out, okay, we need to get to this wall that we find. We find out there's this huge crevasse, canyon, or cavern, or whatever beyond the wall. They have to figure out how to climb get everyone over the wall, over the crevasse, do it without Isabella knowing and or enough time to get out, and they have to do it for like 30 kids or however many that they're taking with them. A seemingly impossible task to escape this place. Now, of course, while they're doing this, Isabella is basically getting hints and word and everything that this is, this is going down. They know, the kids know. And Ray turns out to kind of betray him. Okay, he's informing on Isabella a lot of stuff that Norman and Emma and all the others are doing, but he's doing it in such a way that he's trying to get it to. It's kind of hard to explain, but he's trying to divulge information. A double agent. He's trying to basically be a double agent. He's willing to sacrifice himself in order to get the rest of the kids out. And Emma, of course, she's, all up on the glass half full type character, and she wants everybody out regardless of whatever, just have to figure it out. And Norman's one of those as well. Well, Norman, before they can escape, Norman is kind of sent off to be adopted. Yeah, he goes through the gates and all this stuff, and yeah, he's quote-unquote adopted. More on that later. And Ray and Emma, they all eventually, spoilers, they all eventually do manage to get out. But the way that they do it, it's hard to go into all these details. And, the training that they do with all these kids, most of the kids don't know. It's just like Emma, Ray, Norman, and a couple other small select ones that know, and they're trying to train these kids, build up their strength, stamina, quickness, whatever, so that when the time comes to get to, GTFO, they kind of train them by playing tag, get their stamina up, get everything up. The way they do it is just so mesmerizing. It's awesome. It's a series that you absolutely have to watch, because me sitting here trying to explain what they do step by step, every little conniving little step, it's not going to serve it any justice. Not going to serve it any justice at all. But now I have to go into the manga. Something that I normally don't do with most series, but I know that I'm a huge fan of a series if I end up watching the whole anime, turning it off, and then I start running to try to see what manga's out there, right? I want to know what manga's out there. Yes, I'm one of those. I watch the anime and then I wonder about the manga, right? Okay, did the same thing with Attack on Titan. Now, the manga, I don't want to give too much away, but if you enjoyed this series, you need to go read the manga. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of big spoilers, like massive spoilers. If you don't want to get that, because this is going into the manga, potentially season 2, okay, depending on how close the anime follows the manga. So you've been warned again. Big spoiler coming up, all right? Now, what these are just going to be a couple of little tidbits to try to motivate you to read the manga. All right, I'm not going to give a huge amount of detail, but these little tidbits, I hope they really get you motivated. Tidbit number 1, Emma is a badass. Oh my God, she's a badass. She is like one of the most badass characters that there is in anime, period. In the first season of the anime, she's kind of shown as like this girl who's maybe a little airheaded, maybe a little too optimistic, really athletic, but maybe not as intelligent as the rest of them. That's not true. She is a little hot-headed. She does make decisions a little more hasty than Norman or Ray. But the thing is, she's actually also the most intelligent. She is prime with athletics. She is prime with intelligence, but didn't really kind of show it because of her hot-headedness. She is king shit. Pure and simple. That's who she is. She is awesome. She can lead a freaking army, and she kind of starts to. Tidbit. Tidbit number 2. The demons are not inherently evil. Oh, wait a minute. They eat flesh. They're like zombies or whatever. How evil can you get? The demons are not inherently evil. There are some, of course, by character that are bad people. But the demons find themselves in this kind of odd food chain situation. In order for the demons to maintain their humanity, I guess, their consciousness, their society, they have to continuously eat human flesh. If they stop eating human flesh, they start to regress. Their evolution goes in reverse. They go back into basically beast form. So in order for their society to persist, they have no choice but to continuously eat human flesh. Does that make them evil? Does that make them good? It makes it a necessity. I don't know if that's necessarily good or evil. It's a necessity that they have to do. You know, we have to eat. Humans have to eat. You know, whether it be chicken, cows, the plant growing in my corner over there. You know, we have to eat just as they have to eat. It's not inherently good or evil. It just is what it is. It's where they're stuck on the food chain. Tidbit number 3. The anime and the early manga, you know, they follow each other pretty closely, but it's basically, you know, they're in a post-apocalyptic world, right? And these demons have come and done whatever it is that they do, and they're trying to find the rest of society. That world's not true. The kids, the orphanage is not on Earth. It's not on Earth. But it is connected to Earth. Basically, a long time ago, there was like this huge demon-human war or whatever. It ravaged, mass casualties all over the place, blah, blah, blah. And what ends up happening is they basically make this promise with the one, whatever this is. Don't know many details about this, but the promise is basically a binding contract. They call it the promise. It's basically a binding contract between humans and demons to keep the world separate, but the demons get to basically keep these orphan farms so that they can maintain their quote-unquote humanity. And with that promise, the goal to try to get out of there is to rewrite the promise, and it becomes this big thing. That's your tidbit. I'm going to leave it at that for now. So if you liked the anime but haven't read the manga, go watch the manga. Go read the manga. It is incredible, and the level of detail where the storyline goes, it is just insane. Emma is Little Miss Badass. They do actually end up fighting humans. I'll give that a little tidbit number 4 there. They do end up fighting humans in full-on military spec gear. So yeah, if you like the anime, read the manga. You will not regret it. This is an anime and manga that I absolutely love. And with that, like, subscribe, hit that notification button. More love it or hate it reviews. And there's a couple that I kind of love to hate and hate to love. I'm going to throw those in too. Streaming right here on YouTube. We'll see you in the next video.